Ladies, don't date guys who make less money than you. That's what this content creator said. Women shouldn't marry men who earn less than them. What do you think? So this content creator thinks that men who earn less than their spouses have a sort of inferiority complex, and that those marriages, they just don't last at all. I think that sounds a little bit fishy, but okay, sure, let's take her word for it. So she says it's more likely to end in divorce if the woman earns more money than the man. Well, she talks a big talk, but what do the stats say? So you see, I'm not an expert when it comes to marriages and divorces or things like that. So of course, I need to do some homework. And well, even though she talks a big talk and she got a lot of attention on social media for this video, she didn't provide any evidence or proof. So I did some research and guess what? I found out it's not true. Okay, it's not true anymore. So my argument has studies and show how things have changed since the time where this was supposedly a problem. Now, here's something that doesn't quite add up. This content creator, right? She's supposedly talking to Asian women, specifically Chinese women, but the video is in English. The video is in English, and it is posted on a platform that is based in mainland China, where obviously 99% of the people, if not more, predominantly Chinese Mandarin speakers as a first language. So it makes me wonder, is she being honest about her intention, or is she just trying to get attention? So if your content is talking down to men, and it's posted on a platform in Asia with mostly non-English speakers, where most of the English speakers are going to be men, it really makes me question what your intentions actually are. So if most of your viewers are gonna almost guarantee to be men, and you're gonna obviously cause a ton of outrage, then yeah, I definitely question what the intentions are. But for the sake of diplomacy and all that, I'm just gonna go ahead and not mention who the specific creator is. If you happen to know who it is, then that's good for you. So, studies tell us that money issues often cause problems in marriages, heading towards divorce, obviously. So, one study found that couples with around $30,000 in debt tend to argue more about money, even on a weekly basis. Another study says arguing about personal finances often leads to higher chance in divorce. So, it seems like this has more to do with your financial ideology, or what you think about money, how to manage money, than it does marrying somebody who makes more money than you do. So it seems marrying someone with less money doesn't guarantee that the marriage is doomed. Other things like communication, trust, commitment matter too, of course. Some studies even say couples who agree on money matters have better marriages no matter their income. So it's more about your values than it is about how much money you're bringing to the table, so long as you and your partner can agree, that is. Now, of course, I'm going to be listing all the studies and sources in the description. Unlike the other content creator, I brought receipts. It's not fair to say women shouldn't marry men with less money. Every marriage is different, and what matters most is that both parties are happy and they work together to solve their issues, not if the man is making more money or if the woman is making more money. This seems quite trivial in the long scheme of things. So, understanding the topic requires looking at different studies. In terms of gender roles, studies by Bertrand, Cummings, and Pan in 2015 show a 5% higher chance of divorce when the wife earns more money, mainly in marriages before 1990. But let's be honest, how many of you were even born before 1990 watching this video? A study by Schwartz and Gonalons in 2016 find a reduced divorce risk for wives out-earning husbands, dropping by 50% from the 1970s to 20% in the 2000s. Rogers in 2004 looks at how wives' income affect divorces, considering factors like income, marriage duration, and having children, of course. We know children aren't easy to handle, especially nowadays. These studies highlight that marital dynamics, challenging the idea that women shouldn't marry men with lower finances. Each marriage is unique, shaped by individual circumstances, choices, and shared values. Results show that fewer people are getting divorced now than in the past in the US and other countries. The number of divorces today is the lowest it's been since the 1970s. But this does not mean that married people are happier or get along better than before, because there are many things that can make them want to divorce or stay married, like what other people think, what the law says, how much money they have, and what they like or don't like about each other, or the marriage as a whole. Now, there was a hard connection between how much money wives make and how often they divorce in the past. Couples where the wife made more money than the husband divorced more often than couples where the husband made more money. But this could be because people expected men to be the breadwinners back then, or because couples had other problems to deal with, or because people looked down on them. But this has changed over time as more women have started working and getting more education and money. money. New studies show that the chance of divorce for a couple where the wife makes more money than the husband have gone down a lot since the last 50 years, or within the last 50 years, and is now the same, if not lower, than the chance of couples getting divorced where the husband is the breadwinner and makes more money in the relationship. This could be because couples have different views, values, and actions now, and also there are more similar and equal in modern marriages. Results say that half of married people get divorced, and that is a lie. Many experts have proven this wrong. It was based on a guess from the 1970s that did not count real numbers of marriages and divorces over time. In fact, the number of divorces has gone down in the last 20 years, and it changes depending on things like how old people are, how much school they actually have in terms of educational level, and how much money they make, of course. So, the 50% divorce rate myth is a false statistic that was based on a guess from the 1970s. It was a projection for the future based on the baby boomer generation, where many people got married and divorced quickly, but it was widely reported by the media and accepted by the public. The divorce rate has gone down since then, and it changes depending on many factors such as age, education, and income, of course. So, some of the major publications that reported that 50% rate myth, well, the New York Times, Time Magazine, Newsweek, the Washington Post. I mean, if all these guys are getting on board publishing this sensational article, obviously it's gonna go viral, even without the internet back then. So you see, just because somebody says it on the internet doesn't mean you should believe them. Chances are they didn't check the studies. They don't know.
Here's the paper you asked, divorce rate.
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
Okay, yeah, so don't listen to a guy on the internet just because he posted a video, or a girl, or whatever. Yeah, okay, so the divorce rate actually is more like 50%. Wow, this is awkward. So, 15.5 out of 1,000 married women got divorced, and the number was 15.5 out of 1,000 married women in 2019, which is down from 15.7 in 2018. So while it has improved, it's still pretty high. Okay, so the marriage rate continued to be stable in 2019, remaining at a 45-year low since 2010. In 2019, there were 30.5 marriages per 1,000 unmarried women. 2.2 million women married in 2019, an increase of about 117,742 marriages in 2010. Okay, maybe it was like 50%, but it was still much higher in the 1980s, which is insane. Now, the different ways of living and divorce rules, the 1980s had more people who cared about themselves and shopping and women's rights than they did anything else, especially their marriages. So this may have changed what people wanted and felt in their marriages. The 1980s also had more states that allowed no-fault divorce. This meant that people could divorce without blaming each other or paying a lot of money. It's like, hey, I want to get divorced. Why? What did they do wrong? Nothing. I just want to get married. I just want to get divorced because. I just want to get divorced because. Just because. The problem in society and politics. The 1980s had some hard times with money. People fighting for their rights and wars in other countries that, of course, had side effects bleeding over to the US. This may have made some couples unhappy and worried. The 1980s also had a new special funky disease called, well, AIDS, which may have made some married people sick or scared to have sex, and who doesn't love a sexless marriage? And of course, the changing role of women. The 1980s had more women who worked, went to school, and made more money. This may have given some women the power to leave a bad or boring marriage.
2 hours later.
This may have given some women the power to leave a bad or boring marriage, or to look for better and happier partners. Like, they didn't need to stay with your abusive grandpa just because. Okay, so before we wrap up, I want to leave you with a thought. Don't settle for surface level information. When you hear something, question it, seek sources, look for evidence, and make informed decisions. We're bombarded with content every day, and it's crucial to separate fact from fiction. If this video resonated with you, if you learned something, even one small thing that you think is valuable, consider subscribing and sharing it with someone who might actually benefit from this information. And if you made it this far into the video, I super highly appreciate it. And put down a 50-50 in the comment section. So let's foster a community of critical thinkers, and thanks for watching.